What's up, YouTubers? It's time for wait, where's my voice? Oh, it's late. Anyway guys, it's time for a tier list video. But not just any old tier list. We're going to be tearing up late dubbed anime. Now what do I mean by that? Well, I mean anime that's had a very late dubbing. Normally when it comes to anime, they get dubbed like 4 episodes in. That's the usual norm when it comes to a lot of animes. But not these animes. These animes got dubbed months to even years ahead of its official Japanese release. That is just insane. Now, of course, for these animes to be on this list, I've set some ground rules. The first rule is the dub has to be released after the series has been complete, or at very least, the first season. This being so that there's a significant gap between the anime's release. It doesn't matter if the second season has been released or they're even still continuing, as long as it's been dubbed after the first season's release, it counts. The second rule is it has to be dubbed by an official dubbing company. For example, Funimation, they're an official dubbing company. If they've dubbed an anime, it counts. The third rule is it has to have confirmed to be dubbed years later. As you guys can imagine, there is no real source to say when this stuff has been officially dubbed. I've looked everywhere and there is no real list of animes that have been dubbed late or when stuff has been dubbed. I've looked everywhere. If there is a site, then it's unknown to me. I've scoured everywhere. So a lot of these animes on this list that I know have been lately dubbed is based upon my own experience. I've seen these anime subbed and then later seen the dub's official release. That's how I know these things have been dubbed late. Another good source of information is all thanks to a Reddit user named Universal Sax. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. But what he's done is, on the Anime Dubs Reddit post, he posted a link to his My Anime list and said that he's put a caption DYL, which means dubbed years later, on anime that he's seen. Which is very useful. So I combined the two knowledge that I had and he had on his My Anime list and managed to put together 10 anime that I've officially seen that's been dubbed. So with that guys, here are 10 anime that I'm going to be ranking in a tier list based upon the dubbed release. Some other benefactors are going to be a part of this ranking system, however. As you can imagine, a lot of these anime got dubbed years after their Japanese release. So while I'm keeping in mind of their dub, I'm also going to be taking into consideration about when they've been released, as our first anime we're going to be ranking is going to help me explain very much when I'm going to go over it. I'm going to be talking about their storyline and how much has the dub affected the anime community. Probably not that much, but considering it's a very late dubbing, it could have a bit of an impact. Considering I'm going to be talking about a lot of story elements and of course what happens within the anime, a spoiler warning is considered. So if I talk about an anime you are interested in or you're still watching, feel free to skip over. One other bit of thing I should mention guys, these are of course based on my personal opinion. These rankings are my personal opinion. You can debate with me in the comments section, but I'm going to be putting a little bit of facts and info into why I'm going to be putting them into a certain tier list. So please debate with me in the comment section. I do appreciate it as to help me understand multiple points of view. And finally guys, as you can imagine, making a tier list like this is going to be very difficult. Gathering anime that's been dubbed years later and actually finding proof, dates and info is very difficult to do. There's no real source of info I can go to for this. So a like would be very much appreciated, and while you're there, please subscribe. It helps me out, and let me know if you want more videos like this in the future. Heck, if you got a tier list video idea, drop it in the comment section below. I would very much appreciate it. So let's get into this tier list video, guys. The tiers that we've got here are Masterpiece, so they're going to be anime that I really love. I cannot see fault with it, and I'm happy it's out and would recommend it completely. Amazing, I would think the anime is absolutely, well, amazing. Still don't really see any faults with it, but I really don't have enough push for it to be a masterpiece. I just think it's amazing overall. Good, I say it's a good anime, not really one of my tops. I would really consider it for a top, but I still think it's pretty much amazing and would still give it a recommendation if it comes into my head. Watchable, I would watch it once and probably not touch on it for a very long time unless I got the interest or just came across it, remembered about it but want to refresh my memory. And finally, never. Basically that. Never again. I would never watch this anime again. I would not even recommend it. I would highly tell people to stay away from it. Let's start off with what's possibly the most famous late dubbing anime, To Love Ru, who's got its Japanese release within April of 2008 and got its dub release in March of 2020. A whole 12 years to get To Love Ru dubbed, and at the time of this recording it's only gone up to season 3. There are no dubbed OVAs. To Love Ru has been dubbed by Sentai Fireworks and is still possibly getting dubbed by them now. But what do I think of To Love Ru and its late dub? It's pretty good. Good actually. When I first watched the dub, I literally compared it to the sub, trying to compare voices. The voices, I'd say they're almost spot on, almost. Considering it's been 12 years, I imagine they will try and shake things up a bit, especially when it comes to voices. Considering To Love Ru is a very popular anime, but the fact that it's been dubbed years later, they're probably trying to revitalize the nostalgia that came with To Love Ru after its first release. Because I believe when To Love Ru first came out, it was an absolute bombshell and everyone fell in love with it. There is one little nitpick I have to say when it comes to this late dubbing, and it's the fact that Lala and her sisters use flip phones. I'm pretty sure in this day of age in 2021, no one uses flip phones apart from my own grandmother. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people who have their smartphones are looking at this flip phone and going, what on earth is that? But considering it's again is 2008 when this anime was released, I'm letting it slide just because of that. But I'm more thinking of the people of this day of age who's probably a little bit annoyed that they're using flip phones. But at the same time, you've got to realise they're probably not going to go back and re-edit of that old of anime just to put in a smartphone. That's probably going to change a lot of the anime. I personally like the whole flip phone thing. It gives a nice little like projection sort of feel when it's in use, if that makes sense. It feels like more controlled. If it was a smartphone screen, it will just hit them right in the face, if you ask me. But maybe I'm thinking about that a bit too much. I'm pretty sure there's some of you who can understand what I'm trying to say. I think I've confused myself. I really do hope that To Love Ru dub does continue to do well. I do hope they do release OVA dubs. I would really appreciate that. And considering the OVA dubs are actually part of the To Love Ru storyline. So a lot of people might not be happy with the fact that the OVAs have not been officially dubbed. Or maybe they have and I just haven't seen them yet. I do not have the Blu-ray or DVD for To Love Ru. I think it's not even out in the UK yet. So my sources on that is meh. But I would really appreciate the dub OVAs. I really would appreciate that. So with that all weighing out, I would still put To Love Ru in Masterpiece, the dub still makes me laugh. I really do enjoy it, and I'm hoping the 4th season gets released very, very soon. I would really much appreciate it. I really appreciate the OVAs as well getting dubbed. Then again, I don't really know if OVAs are really that much of a concern with dubs. Considering my copy of High School of the Dead's OVA does not come dub. Who knows? But I would really appreciate that if Sentai Fireworks put in that bit more effort to dubbing the OVAs, please. Alright, the next late dubbed anime is The Testament of Sister New Devil. Its Japanese release was in February of 2015, and its dub came out in September of 2017. And at the time of this, the series has been fully dubbed. I think the OVAs has well, there's only one bit of dub media missing, and that is the movie. Oh, that burns me up even more, actually, now that I think about it. The anime has been licensed by Crunchyroll in North America, with Funimation taking care of distributions within every other part of the country. I don't know if that includes North America, my sources aren't really clear upon that. But what do I think of Testament of New Sister Devil? It is ecchi to the extreme. So, you can imagine my thoughts upon that, especially when it comes to a lot of ecchi stuff I've ranked in other tiers. But it's also one of the main animes. This is an anime I literally bought a sub DVD version only to have like a year later hear of its dubbed release and getting it dubbed later. So that kind of annoys me a little bit, considering I thought it was going to be an anime that would never really get dubbed because of its edginess. But I'm really happy it's gotten dubbed. The voice actors did a really good job nailing tones and the feels of the character. I honestly, really, if I watched them or listened to them side by side, I really could not hear that much of a voice difference for the characters. I think they both did an amazing job. Both voice actresses did amazing jobs voicing these characters, and I really do love the storyline. Which is why I really want the movie to get dubbed. But again, it could be a situation where the movie has been dubbed, but I do not know of it. But as far as I can tell, this movie has not been officially dubbed, and I would appreciate it getting dubbed. It's another late movie dub. It probably fits in well with Testament of the New Sister Devil being a late dubbed anime. But come on, it's been 4 years now since the first season got dubbed. We still want that movie, and I think both seasons of To Love Ru? And I think both seasons of The Testament of the New Sister Devil got dubbed nearly the same time. So I would really appreciate it. Plus the movie sets up for a new continuing storyline. That could interest people into getting the manga, see if the story continues throughout the manga. Or maybe they didn't choose to dub the movie because the story was continuing to nowhere and they didn't want audience to feel like the story was going to continue even though it's not. Either way, it still annoys me. I would still appreciate the movie being dubbed. It sets more tone, sets more backstory, it sets a lot for the characters. But that's just my personal thought. So because of all this, guys, I'm going to put Testament of the New Sister Devil in amazing. It is so close though to hitting masterpiece. It literally annoys me. The only thing that's making it not hit masterpiece is the fact that the movie has not been dubbed. If it was getting a dub release, or probably has a dub release, it will go instant into masterpiece. But because they're missing that one bit of story, it goes into amazing. If the movie is getting a dub, then it will go instant into masterpiece. But because of it, it's going into amazing. I know a lot of you are probably going to be going on to me and say, To Love Ru's Season 4 hasn't been dubbed yet, so why is that not amazing? That's because the Season 4 is getting dubbed. We know that, but we don't know about the movie situation for Testament of the New Sister Devil. That's what separates it apart. The next anime we're going to be looking at is Skill Teaser or Teasing Master Takagi-san. I don't really know how you lot would say the title. I hear Skill Teasing Tagashi and Teasing Master Takashi. You guys answer me in the comment section below. I don't know which to put. Do I even put san at the end? Skill Teasing Tagaki-san or Teasing Master Takagi-san? I really don't know. I keep hearing multiple ways of saying this anime. Please tell me. Anyway, we've got the Japanese released in January 2018, but the dub's been released in May 2019. I know it's not really exactly years apart, but it still counts considering this anime's first season had its dub release within the second season, long after the first season was finished. So technically it still counts for this list. You can again debate, but I'm still going to be ranking it. Takagi-san's dub is being handled the same way as our last entry, being handled by both Crunchyroll and Funimation. But for Funimation mainly taking care of the dub. Now for Skill Teasing Takagi, the main thing that they had to do well within dubbing is the interactions with our two main characters. Takagi has to be a teasing master, hence the title. She has to give up a really good teasing voice for this. I don't know what year this Takagi's in actually. Is she in primary school? Is she in secondary school? I get a bit of secondary school vibe. But maybe I'm misreading. Now, admittedly, while watching the Japanese, I probably did not understand the whole teasing situation Takagi was trying to do to Nishika-kun. I probably mispronounced that. Let's see if I can get the word. Nishigata? Is that his name? Nishigata. I probably didn't understand the teasing with Nishigata, probably because I don't understand teasing myself or when I get teased and all that. But with the dub, I sort of got an understanding. Maybe again that could have been because I watched it in Japanese and tried to put the understanding in. Either way, I really do like the dub. I think they did a really good job with Skill Teasing Tagashi. My god, that title is really hard to say over and over again. Yeah, it's a pretty much tongue twister. I bet you guys, none of you can say it 5 times fast. Skill Teasing Takashi, Skill Teasing Takashi. So with overall with the dub, what do I think of Skill Teasing Takashi? I love it. Actually, I love the interaction with these two. I love the side characters and the stories that they come up with. So I'm going to be putting this in. Oh, it's another one. Oh. Because I think they did so well with the dubbing and the interactions with the characters, I'm going to put this in. Amazing, because this isn't really an anime I would jump to again, to be honest. But I really want to put in Masterpiece looking over it. But I didn't really think about watching Skill Teasing Tagashi again, not until I was thinking up this list. Testament New Sister Devil to Lover, I think about quite often. But Tagashi, it doesn't really come to mind that often. So I'm going to put in Amazing. You all may probably hate me. Don't get me wrong guys, I still think of her as one of the teasing big 3, along with Naiko and Uzaki-chan. I probably butchered those names as well, but please forgive me. It's been a very long time since I've said those names. But yeah, I still put her in Amazing. The 2 seasons are really, really good. I do recommend the anime. If you want a good teasing love story, would anyone really count that as a love story though? I recommend it. The next anime we're going to be taking a look at is a good old classic, Love, Hina. An anime that came out of April 2000 and had its dub release of February of 2002. Love, Hina's dub has been done by Bandai Entertainment, but in 2010 it had its DVD re-release by Funimation with the same Bandai Entertainment dub. With that out of the way, let's get into about this anime. This anime has a lot of Japanese culture into it, and I imagine back then in 2002, 2010, it's not really that much well known within our English speaking language culture. I'm not really quite sure about that. I definitely know when looking at this anime there was a lot of stuff I didn't know, but I learned about with Japanese culture through this anime. So, which gets me to the main part, the voice acting, which I think they did a really good job. I did come across the sub once, and I think they did a really good job with it, with this dubbing. It definitely has a lot of comedic moments, which I think they did really well. It got me laughing, especially with the dub's interaction. They did the whole story, which I appreciate a lot. I think they did the OVAs as well, which again I appreciate a lot. They did the movies that link to the storyline. They completed it, which is even something that the Testament of New Sister Devil can't say. So I think it's really, really good. The music, catchy, I loved it. I think it's one of the few animes at the time that didn't get an English dub opening, because I think around that time that we were getting some anime with English dubbed openings. I think One Piece, the 4Kids version, is a good example of that. Which honestly made me thought it's an anime that would have got dubbed later because of the time period. The story is pretty good, the dubbing is pretty good. I overall enjoy it. Is it memorable? I'd say yes. Considering the times that we have, I'm pretty sure a lot of people could relate to Love Hina. Considering it's about like university entering, school and all that, as well as like opposite sex interaction. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would love that, and would guys can expect the interactions and probably learn about it. So because of that, I'm going to put in amazing as well. No, you know what? Yeah, let's keep it in amazing. I was going to put in masterpiece just because you could get an overall complete box set for it, I think. But I'm still going to put in amazing for now. Just because of the fact that it is, again, very old. You know what? No. I'm going to put all that back. Let's put in a massive. The story's pretty good. There's a good job dubbing it. That's the thing I got to focus on. We're putting in a masterpiece. Alright, the next dub we're going to be looking at is another famous one. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people would probably know it's the late dubbing, but at the same time, they don't know. And that is KonoSuba, Goddess Blessing on This Wonderful World. Its Japanese release was in January of 2016, while its dub was released in January of 2019, a 3-year gap. KonoSuba's dub was announced by Crunchyroll, with season 1 coming out of January in 2019, while its second season, February of 2020. Now, already, if you've seen my previous anime tier list, you know I love KonoSuba. KonoSuba, I think, is probably one of the hardest to dubbed anime. That's mainly because, on record, with the Japanese version, a lot of the lines are ad-libbed by the voice actors. So the dubbing company over in America had a lot more to do because they had to try and dub the ad-lib and make it seem like it's natural, which I'm pretty sure is something that'll probably be a bit hard to do while also confusing me, the hell. Considering the Japanese character company got pretty into their voice acting, I'm pretty sure a lot of the voice actors in Japan have even cosplayed their own characters. But still, overall, when comparing the dub to sub, they did a really good job with the dub. It's still funny as hell. I think even the dub actors got really into the role. You could definitely feel it. I definitely appreciate all their hard work, and they even, so far, the dub's up to completion. At the time of this recording, we've just had an announcement of a new KonoSuba project. I honestly hope that it is the Megumi manga that's going to get adapted, or maybe even a third season. I would really love a third season of KonoSuba. So I hope, because of this, season 3's dub wouldn't be not that too far behind the actual Japanese release, like with a lot of other anime. So that I would really appreciate, and I really do love the work they put behind the KonoSuba dubbing. It's still really funny. It gets me excited. I honestly can't decide what to watch, the dubbed or the sub, when it comes to KonoSuba. So because of that, and because it really puts me in the pickle, like what to pick, I'm going to put it in Masterpiece. If you find KonoSuba, I highly recommend you get it and enjoy it. The next anime we'll be looking at is one I'm surprised got dubbed really, and that's My Teen Romantic Comedy, with its Japanese released in April 2015, while its dub got released in August of 2019. It got dubbed by Sentai Fireworks. And the first thing I really want to say about this anime, it's not a comedy. It's really not a comedy, so I don't know why they chose the title My Teen Romantic Comedy. Maybe it's a play on the words. Maybe it's supposed to be saying sarcastically, it's my teenage romantic comedy. I don't know. It sounds like it should be sarcastic considering what we know about the main character. So, what do I think of it? My Teen Romantic Comedy is a coming-of-age story. One of the things I really do appreciate about the story is the fact that our main character, who was heartbroken and literally made fun of by this person who he fell in love with. And because of it, he's literally made to play because of it, but the character, because of it, grew up into... I honestly felt sorry for the guy right at the beginning. But I love the mindset he got because of it, though. He really analyzes and breaks down the characteristics of the people around him. And because of it as well, it literally does become a romantic story, which I honestly fall in love with. The dubbing did a really good job of it. I think those 2 years, was it, that the gap between the Japanese and the dub's release is probably what helped it turn into a very good dub release. Or maybe I'm just stupid with that idea. I doubt they really worked on the dub within that 2 year gap. But honestly, if they did work for that, it honestly would show. Their voicing work is pretty well. I feel like the voice actors probably understood how the characters felt, and that's why I feel such more of a connection with the dubbing work. It honestly feels like the voices they chose hit all the characters right on the head. I honestly finished watching the dub season 3 not that too long ago, and it's still fresh in my mind. It is a dub I would highly recommend to a lot of people to watch. I know there's probably a lot of dub versus sub haters, but honestly when it comes to a story like this, I think it'll be a lot more of emotional impact if you watch the dub, especially when it comes to a lot of people out there who probably don't watch the sub version, or probably don't watch anime in general. Granted, yes, I do like the sub version. I honestly would watch the sub version. I have watched the sub version. I'm putting that on record, I have watched the sub version. But I'm more thinking of audience and interactions with people can have between the dubbed and the sub version. With a lot of the dialogue, I think I got lost with the subbed when trying to read it. Maybe I would understand it a bit more if I had the manga on hand to compare it with, but as someone who literally will go on hand saying struggling to read, I hold my hands up and say that I will have to go with the dub version just because you get that bit more of a raw emotion with, of course, my native language being English. So with all that in mind, I'm probably going to put My Teen Romantic Comedy in Masterpiece again. They really did a really good story. I got a lot of understanding from the characters, the interactions I fell in love with. The dub did a really good work. I honestly want to get my hands on the Blu-ray or DVD of this extremely badly, and I just love it to bits. The next dub we're looking at is Kämpfer. I probably mispronounced that, I am so sorry. Its Japanese release was October in 2009, while its dub release was in May of 2019. Its dubbing was done by Sentai Fireworks. And I'm pretty sure some people will probably have not known this anime, but probably recognize the artwork of the poster. This is because it's especially said for me as well, within my local HMV, which is where I usually get my anime DVDs and Blu-rays, there is a box set for this, and it's only in Japanese. This is probably, again, because it's a late dubbed anime. So what's the story about this? Well, this story revolves around our main male protagonist, who gets superpowers by turning himself into a female. Yeah. Honestly, this anime is not really that memorable, if I had to be honest. I did watch one subbed anime and watch the dub. The anime is pretty good, I would say. I continued watching it. The story is good overall. Its OVA is a Christmas episode. The thing that stood out with me, especially when it came to the voice acting, I say they did a really good job. The one thing I really do like is the fact that they did really good voice acting with the shockness at the first few episodes of how the guy turns into a girl and literally his opinions on it. I remember enjoying it when I first watched it, but literally after a while it became a bit forgetful. I know the dubbing was really good. They did a really good job with that. I'll say that. They did a good job. But the overall anime, because of how, again, it wasn't really that memorable, I'm going to put in watchable. Don't get me wrong, I'll probably get the DVD and Blu-ray of it if I ever did come across it. Because I can remember, again, the poster's memorable. If I can remember what the anime is like from just the poster alone, it is probably got a bit of good. But again, I can't really remember that much of the storyline. So it's going in watchable. There's no real hate on the dub. Again, I think the dub did a very good work. It sounds like it would be a good story, but at the same time, again, I watched it and it's not really that memorable. I imagine there's probably some people who's going to be yelling at me saying it should be good, amazing, masterpiece. But me personally, again, watchable. The next one we're going to be looking at is Marvel's Disc Wars Avengers. Its Japanese release was of April 2014. While its dub release, we've got 2 dates. We have July of 2015, with its dub being done by Disney, but at the same time, I'm getting later dates as well. I wouldn't know because I've never seen Disc Wars Avengers dubbed on TV network. But all my later dates are mainly from when they were uploaded onto websites, and those are being with more recent dates. The closest I'm getting is 2020. But those are the dates that I have for this dub and sub. Disc Wars Avengers, this is another one I covered on another tier list video. We basically have our Marvel heroes, the Avengers, and Iron Man's new invention, the discs, being taken by Loki, trapping heroes and villains, and now it's a race to capture them all. Honestly guys, I watched the sub when it was releasing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved the storylines, I loved the interactions, I loved how they were bringing in new characters, and every time a character would appear on the screen for the first time, they'd have their name in katakana, kanji, one of the two, in front of them to like say, yeah, this is my name tag. That was pretty good. But when it came to the dub, I found it completely boring. Maybe it was because of the quality I was watching them. The dubbing was mistimed, which makes me think it was more of the footage I was watching of the dub that was the fault. Because I really think if it was getting dubbed by Disney, of all things, it will do a better job. The voice acting, they definitely sound familiar. It sounds like they were using the voice actors from probably the most recent Marvel Avengers animated series to dub the characters. If so, then that's probably good. It makes it more relatable for anyone who's watching Marvel at that current time. It may be again because of the mistiming dub, but I didn't really enjoy it as much as the subbed version. Maybe again it's because of we've got an American, French, I don't know where they were dubbing this, trying to do a series that probably was meant originally to just be in Japan, but with high demand to make it dub. That's my feel of this anime. I do really enjoy it. I love the action, but that's all with the animation, not the dubbing. Maybe if I actually watched it again with maybe sound alignment or aligned properly, I would enjoy it. But for now, guys, just because of my quality and all that with what I've seen and literally felt while watching this, it's going into good. I'm on record a Marvel fan, so this does hurt me quite a bit. I'm a huge fan of the MCU movies. I came back from watching Black Widow, so it does really hurt me to put into good. Maybe if I watch it in better quality, it would bump up to amazing. But comparing all its work to the other dubs that I've seen, it's going into good. The next one we're going to be looking at is one I actually saw with its late dubbing release. Monster Musume. Its Japanese release was in July of 2015, while its dub was again released in July of 2017. I watched the sub version before the dub version. It got dubbed by Sentai Fireworks. Now Monster Musume, this is an anime, again, I know pretty well with its sub and dub. It's literally in the title, Monster Musume. Everyday life with monster girls. We have our main protagonist who's suddenly given a monster girl to look after, a snake girl, and then one by one they keep appearing, and he has to look after them all. Sounds like a sweet deal to me. Anyway, for its sub and dub comparison, I like it actually. When I saw its dub release, I instantly fell in love with it. They did a really good job with the dubbing, especially with the monster girls. That's probably what, when I say you have to dub a monster girl, that's something I'm pretty sure a lot of people would get instantly scared of to do. Because you'll have to, if you have to dub a snake girl, you probably imagine you have to put a lot of in your sentences whenever you have to say the S syllable sounds. But I think they did a really good job with it actually, especially since these girls, let's face it, love our main character Kun. Not to mention as well the interactions with the characters together with the dubbing. They did a pretty good job, I still think, overall. I think especially when it comes to sounds, they did a pretty good job with that. And this series does cover, in a sort of way, discrimination. Literally, in our first episode, we've got Mia, our snake monster girl, being verbally assaulted by two a-holes, and what does our main character do? Punch them both! Send them flying! That, in my opinion, is amazing. It set those two straight for sure. That Mia's at least protected and allowed to lie. This anime, I feel like, can impact a lot of people, especially within this current age. And with it being dubbed, it's probably going to affect a lot more people, because then they can literally understand it. So, weighing all that, and considering it can bring about probably change to a lot of people, especially if they get into the story, that's probably me being hopeful, I'm going to put Monster Musume in Masterpiece. I can see the dub helping a lot of people, especially within this day of age. It can probably teach a lot of people about respecting different races, cultures, etc, etc. Now, yes, I know there is a lot of memorable moments from the sub version, but I still think they could be just as memorable with its dub variant. That's just my personal opinion, but again, I still think it can be done. And finally, we've got Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-chan. Its Japanese release was of March in 2005, and its dub release was December of 2010. Its dub was done by Discotheque Media. But now onto the dub. It is laughable. Laughable in a good way, I should actually say. It is very hilarious. I honestly gotta admit, I probably have not seen the Japanese. I feel like I should say yes, I have. But in comparison to the dub, it's probably not as memorable to me. I remember watching the dub for the first time and I couldn't stop laughing. This dubbing is shocking to me. Normally when it comes to a lot of dubs, I don't leave in san or kun because those are Japanese terms usually done for respectful purposes. But they left it in this dub. The only other anime that I know of that's actually kept those tropes in, even for its dub, is Ai Yori Ashori. Yeah, that had Kun-sama and all that still left in. So to find a dub with that in, to me, is a bit shocking. But I think because of it, it actually elevates it a bit more. It's not really a dub. I would say like more of a translation than a dub. I still really though enjoy it because of its dubbing. The cast did a really good job. It made it extremely funny, and it was just downright enjoyable to watch. Granted though, it's again not really an anime I would jump to watch. But when we're scaling dub wise, it is amazing. To be honest guys, between you and me, even the other tier list, I was really debating whether to put it to amazing, but since we were scaling it with other anime at the time, it would have been more watchable compared to all the other amazing anime we were tiering. But it's still amazing to me, especially since I rewatched it recently by accident, and I loved it. That's it for our tier video, guys. I'm glad none of these got put into Nether, but the dubbing of these is still pretty shocks me. Considering these anime got dubbed, again, the minimum we got is a year, the maximum we've got is 12 years. I say these are pretty good. A lot of these animes I do really love. The ones that I've seen subbed, that I know I've definitely watched to completion subbed, is To Love Ru, KonoSuba, My Teenage Romance Comedy, Monster Musume, Takagi, Test My New Sister Devil, and Disc Wars Avengers. All the others I probably touched and subbed on, or at least brushed over, and watched bits and pieces. But I still really enjoy this. I think we've made a good tier list. I think I've covered some bases of what the subs and dubs had in comparison, and how the dubs probably affect the now times when they were released. Granted, I probably did a terrible job, but I think I did a pretty good job, a good terrible job at making this tier list video. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is good? What do you think about these animes? Did you prefer them subbed or did you prefer them dubbed? Do you know of any late dubbed anime? And if so, let me know. And heck, is there any other tier lists you want me to cover? Please put all that in the comment section below. If you really enjoyed this video as well, guys, please hit that like button. Again, it helps a lot. Extremely a lot. So that's it for this video, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed this. I'm probably gonna rewatch some of these anime. Doing this tier list really makes me want to rewatch them again. So until next time, guys, this is me signing out. Bye bye.